People here, especially the old people, don't like Woody Guthrie.
Well, that's something I was wondering about.
Well, it's a well, no, it's not. Their grandpappies and their mammies and daddies told them, you know, and all it was Woody lived here, okay?
Yeah.
He was married to a woman. Well, and he left to go to California.
Yeah.
Well, he ran off with his wife, and that's all.
With a million other people.
Did the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, and that's what they remember.
But he sent for him as soon as he got work.
Well, yes, if you read the book, if you see what happened in his life, and then another one is he was a communist. Well, his own friends say no, he was never a communist. He was communal.
Yeah.
You know, but he wasn't a communist. He served in the military and everything else. You know, it's all local bull is what it is.
Well, kind of.
And
It's a little more than local.
well, and of course he was, you know, he was a renegade as such. You know, at the same time Woody was doing what he was doing, you had swing music coming along.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Wills and those guys were Spade McCooley and that stuff was happening. And so that's two complete genres too. His is folk music and theirs is dance music.
Right.
And it's amazing. Woody sang a song. I was messing with a song a while back. It's called Snow Deer. It's just a tune, you know. And Woody sang it, and you listen to him sing it, and then you listen to the swing people sing it. And you've got two different takes on this, and you even wonder why Woody sang it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, but he was a musician, and I hate to say musicians do all kinds of weird things.
Well, you know, and in L.A. and
You
New
know.
York, he got exposed to lots of different stuff.
Well, and he was from Texas, so he knew
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma and this part of the country
This part.
where, you know,
That's a Woody quote there. So, and he says he never was a member. He never was a card-carrying member.
Yeah.
But he also says, right wing, left wing, chicken wing, it's all the same to me. He said, I never was a communist, but I've been in the red all my life. You know, things like that. And he wrote cartoons for the Daily Worker.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and he didn't get paid for them.
Yeah.
he was a union guy.
Yeah, that was
He
his,
supported the union.
main gripe with everybody.
And I got news for you. You ain't a member of the union, or weren't a member of the union. You know, all the time that I worked and everything, until I went to work for the post office, the union was just, you know, they were scum. That's just what you heard from everybody.
Yeah.
Well, nobody liked the union.
Yeah.
Well, until you met union people.
Yeah.
Well, the unions originally have paid vacation, holidays, and things like that. Had we not had unions, there never would have been things.
Yeah.
You think businesses just give people time off?
Yeah.
It doesn't know what they were fought for.
In the 30s, the only party in America supporting unions was the Communist
Yeah.
Party.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
And the communists were supporting Roosevelt at
Yeah.
the time. And Woody supported Roosevelt and went across the country doing shows for the AFL-CIO, any union organization that wanted him. Him and Pete Seeger and Weavers, they all went all over the country.
Yeah, so he had a following as such because, you know, like I say, he would be a hero with the postal.
Yeah.
Just would. He just
Well,
would.
Pete Seeger was still going to union events till he died. He would just
Yeah.
show up.
Yeah.
He sang lots and lots of
See, he was much more of an activist than Woody.
You know, Woody, it was his talent for the stuff he did to write the number of songs that he wrote in the times that he had was amazing.
Yeah.
Told it to die at the age that he died, that he had so many songs.
Yeah.
So he was, I would say he was very eccentric.
Well, he was eccentric, and also he had Huntington's disease. Who knows?
Oh, he did.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah, that's what he
died.
died of. The last 12 years of his life was spent in the hospital. His mother died of Huntington's. Two of his children died of it. Probably his grandfather in El Paso. So it usually hits you in your mid-30s. And Woody didn't die till he was 55, so he was still out there operating. and getting thrown in jail for public intox and stuff when it very likely could have been Huntington's because you can't control your bodily. It's called Huntington's chorea, which chorea means dance in Latin, I believe, or Greek. Anyway, so you get these jerky movements, and he did drink, so you know it probably exasperated. Well, I mean that's how he made his living when he went across the country. He would go to bars and he would bust.
You know, always this part of the world. South, you know, they through mountains and everywhere. Now you're from.
I'm
where?
originally from south of Kansas City.
Kansas, born in Kansas, or
Pleasantville. Yeah.
I'm from Great Bend.
Pleasantville, sorry.
My grandfather's name was Pleasant.
Pleasant?
Pleasant.
I was born in Great Bend.
Oh, huh. Yeah, well, my family all went through Virginia in 1620s.
Okay.
And
No North Carolina?
they went through North Carolina near Fancy Gap.
You're a music guy?
Yeah.
You know Don Petty? You know North Carolina? He's
Yeah.
Appalachian.
Yeah.
We call it Appalachian. We call it
Appalachian Dulcimer. Yeah.
And we saw him down in Glenbrook this year.
Oh, he comes down here?
Well, he came to the Dulcimer Festival.
Dulcimer.
We actually have state Dulcimer Festival as held at Glenbrook.
I think is it Betty, the accordion player?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was telling me.
They have Mountain Dulcimer and Hammer Dulcimer.
Huh.
And of course, they have all kinds of, well, they had two featured guys this year. Don was one, and a black guy, dreadlocks and all this stuff. And everything. He was very talented. He came from a rock blues background. He played, he converted to the Dulcimer.
Appalachian or?
Yes.
Appalachian.
Both these guys. It was weird. But I mean, very entertaining. And of course, he didn't look anything like what you would think of
Right.
Mountain Dulcimer player.
Yeah.
I love great stereotypes.
Yeah.
Well, he broke them, buddy. I wondered who is this guy? Not even the crowd did he fit in anywhere. You know, and then he gets up on the stage and super nice guy.
Did he fit in after that?
Yeah, and he had a song that I may learn, it won't be on the Dulcimer, about a place down here in Texas. It's a store. It's a true story. You can buy anything you want in this store. You know, it's like one of the places you drive up to when you're traveling. And he wrote this cool song about something Brothers Mercantile down Texas. What do you want to know about me? That's
Well, bring it back to the kind of the place of a Woody Guthrie Center in this part of the country. All my uncles are postmen, and my dad was a journalist, reporter for the Kansas City Star, and his beat was unions. And I've often found that when you ask people about the principle, should you take care of one another? Should you share your resources? Folks agree with the principles when you take the political labels away from them, right? And they get hung up on the labels.
you know, me and Mike both been union reps and everything. So
We're some union VP in El Paso.
Oh yeah.
we're scum. But, you know, I'm still a member of the letter carriers union because of the insurance.
Yeah.
I'm retired, but I kept it.
I'm still a CWA member, Communication Workers of America.
What's nice to do is not cost me
Well, do folks, does that restrain your audiences here?
Oh,
at all?
no.
People come because they like what happened last night.
Yeah.
People don't come for Woody Guthrie.
They come for their friends in music.
Some.
We promote Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
But they don't come here for that. This is a very conservative community.
Yeah.
We try to keep politics out of it and keep it about the music.
Yeah.
And which has made it so successful. That's why Mike has had such success. Rather than, you know, people, the reason we don't probably have more crowd than we have, and we try to, and it's spreading a little, but it won't go full bound. I don't know why. They think they're going to come down and we're going to play Woody Guthrie music all night.
And some people think we sit down here and drink beer.
We have no clue where that came
I
from.
don't know where, yeah.
Yeah, it's never happened.
Yeah.
It just never happened. The lady that started this, it just never happened. In fact, one of the ladies that started this worked at the post office. She was still there, I think, but she was there for a very short period of time. When I was working there. She retired. Another lady. They started with Woody Guthrie tribute.
What year was that?
1992.
And this building wasn't part of it.
Page about that right here. And when she went to a presentation for the city to give this idea, her and Glenda Lee Miller at the Chamber of Commerce presentation was interrupted by a man who stood and said Woody Guthrie was an atheist and a communist, and our presentation focused on promoting tourism in our city. Since Woody was a nationally known personality, our assumption was that tourists would be interested in his connection with him.
And they were right.
So that was her reception when she brought the idea to the city. She did not let that deter her. And she was a little fireball of a woman. She did all sorts of things in this town. The garden club and the hike and bike path. And there's I've got 3 pages I'm writing a story on her.
Thelma's quite a character.
But she's 99 in a nursing home now with dementia real bad. But anyway, she didn't let this stop her. There was a local shop teacher that heard about it, got involved. He built a 150-foot long, 10-foot tall structure with the notes for "This land is your land."
All the verses?
No, just the first. You know what I mean? Like this first
Land in your land.
4 bars or something.
Four bars. It's out by a hotel on our main.
Yeah, it's out on the highway.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of an attraction. I mean,
Yeah.
people read about it in our highway magazines, and they come just, they'll drive by and see it. It doesn't have any indication of. Most people that live here don't even know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It says Woody Guthrie words on the highway. There's a little sign.
Yeah.
The plaque there is all gone and everything.
Yeah.
But this guy did it on his own dime, on his own time.
Rusty
to support
Neef.
Rusty Neef, yeah. In support of Thelma, and there were other community leaders, lawyers. She got some people behind her that thought, yeah, something needs to be done. They were kind of more in the idea of erecting a statue, but Thelma wanted something more.
Well, lucky for us.
She realized that when she was a little girl going to grade school here, that Woody Guthrie was working in this drugstore. And this drugstore was sitting here empty, and she said, this is what we ought to do. We need to buy this place and make it a tourist attraction. And tourism and Happy Texas just don't exactly, the 2 words don't really mesh together very well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at where we're at. I mean, you don't get any drive-by business.
The interstate is yonder
30
away.
miles that way.
And just the one road that goes straight through 70 goes from here to nowhere.
Yeah.
And so nobody comes by here.
Yeah.
I mean, people that come here got to be coming here.
Yeah, they're coming to see, if they're coming to see this, they're coming to see this.
Yeah.
I've got a railroad card. You saw the railroad card here. I'd like you to sign it before you leave.
Sure.
There's names on there from Cambodia, from France, from New Zealand, from the Solomon Islands, from Sweden, from Germany, from England, and all the states. I mean,
Yeah.
and those people they came here on purpose.
People out of Woody Guthrie pilgrimages.
So we don't get, and that's, over years, we don't get that many of them.
Yeah.
And I always tell
Over
people,
years.
I don't get that many visitors, but the ones that I get are usually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're writers and they're authors and they're professors and they're teachers and they're librarians and they're musicians and they're artists and,
And Arlo's been through?
Oh yeah, Arnold's played here 3 times.
Huh.
He just retired,
Yeah.
But we just told you last night we had that picture commission.
Yeah.
Their family is supportive,
Yeah.
of us. They kind of made a deal with us as long as we're not making any money off of Woody's name. That
We don't.
they're tickled to death that we carrying on the legacy, and they help us a little
We'll
bit.
try to keep his face out there and the children,
Yeah.
this land is your land, I mean, we learned that in school.
Yeah.
Grade school music teacher, Miss Eloise Lane, she was an academic.
That's funny that you said that.
No, well, she's,
Eloise Lane, I just looked down and there was her name.
she's a lady, and she was a lady. I mean, a lady. And carried herself like a lady, acted like a lady, and you see her name here, you see it at the White Deer Land Museum and stuff. She was pound that piano and sang, and you know, she wasn't the greatest singer I ever heard. And she sparked an interest in music. You know, now every grade school here got their own music teacher. Mine happened to be at San Houston myself, and I feel super fortunate. You know, the singing, you learn that from first grade. We had first grade through fifth. Once you got to fifth grade, of course it was 1 through 6. Fifth grade, you could join band or choir. Well, I dove in band, you know, I wanted to be trombone, you know. And of course, you still had your music class every day. Band was a separate class. And so it started with instrumental band. Miss Eloise Lane and Charles Leach, the guy that were band. And of course, junior high was Pampa. Our band back when I was a teenager, for sure. It's not like it used to be. You know, a lot of things have changed over the last few years, but our band was called Pride of Pampa. And they never settled for less than perfect scores and stuff in the contest, UIL contest. So it was I woke up thinking this morning. We used to march what they call boards. They would set one rise up 6 inches tall, so far 24 inches apart or whatever, and we had to march those boards with our instruments. I don't remember anybody ever falling and tripping on those things. We're talking about guys carrying the tubas and everything, and we had to march looking straight ahead and march through those boards. It was knee lift is what it was. Our band was very famous for the knee lift, going across the field, and then all of a sudden going to a stride. I mean, it was very noticeable. It was one thing we were known for. Around here, Pampa, you knew the Pride of Pampa. The band was, you know, quite the thing.
And is that no longer the case?
It's changed so much. See, we had the band, and then we had state band. Now, state band would break off and play basketball games and things like that. The band was band.
Just in Pampa, you had band in the state.
Yeah, the state band was just a little group of people.
Yeah.
And they played the basketball games. But the band was the band. Marching season was the band.
Yeah.
Concert season, it was the same band. You know, with more stuff. But now they have, you know, this and this and this and this and this, and drum line and choir same way. You know, they have this choir and that choir.
Yeah.
And that choir. Things have changed some, you know, people have modernated, you know, they've done things, but back in the old day, it was just plain and simple, you know.
Is there a marching band for, I guess, football team, or is football big here? Because I went through some other towns where the demographics have changed so, like liberal, which is something like 78 Hispanic now, which has changed in just the past 15 years.
Oh yeah.
That changed the kind of shift from football to soccer and basketball. Then that has implications for what music we got to hear. Have those kind of changes happened? Has it been pretty?
We still have the high school marching band. My son is born in 74.
Hey, same year as me.
He marched the last contest that our middle school junior high band marched in. They wore the same uniform that I wore when I was there. They drug them out. I mean, they still look great. They were uniforms that I wore. Robert E. Lee. Of course, that name bit the dust, right?
Yeah.
But they wore the uniform to marching contest the last year of the junior high march. So they don't compete anymore with the junior high marching, but the high school students. So things and we do have a big soccer team, you know. Here.
Yeah, well, the injuries with football, the head injuries and stuff is, you know, it's been an issue nationwide.
Yeah.
In Texas, you know, football is.
Yeah. Pampa's got a football team, you know, we'll always have the boost of football, you know, we got new turf, you know, you got your football lessons. But when you get out from that, you know, we try to tell people, kids and stuff, learn to play an instrument. You know, man, Michael with that, everybody playing an instrument. Well, they all like that.
You know they're all not doing that.
But if who plays guitar, you know.
So they all want to.
Yeah. And the thing is, Betty is sitting there, and she tells them, it's something you can do.
Hold a whole lot.
She's living proof of it.
She's the star whenever we have the kids.
Yeah, you know.
Of course, the accordion already is kind of an amazing.
They sit there and wonder at this thing, you know, and all.
How does it work?
Yeah, she's making more noise than we are. She always makes that known that we're all plugging into stuff.
Yeah,
She's just working. She's the only one that's working. You know, I have to do all the work.
And so we try to impress the young one, you know, seriously, because it's what happened to me for sure, is you start when you're young. Now, I wish that I would have been from a musical family. Mother could sing, Daddy could sing, but they didn't do stuff, you know, they were. That fiddle player right up there with the ball cap on, you know, that was a musical family.
Yeah.
There was him, his wife, 2 boys. Turned into a fantastic musical family. 2 boys. Well, Carolyn's still alive, the wife, but she played stand-up bass forever.
For us,
Yeah, I took over, basically, I took over when she left for the group. Jam sessions not always. Last night, the guy that usually plays the bass was here. He played bass. It just helps. When everybody gets used to the bass being there, it helps.
well, there's a hole in it wrong.
It just kind of helps.
Yeah.
Betty's husband used to play a thing called the home.
Oh, yeah.
And he sit there and thump on it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, even he didn't know what he was doing. He just thumped away. But that thumping,
Keep rhythm though.
Keeps
that thumping,
people together.
that lowness and that it helped.
Yeah.
It added a little depth to stuff.
Kind of glues people
And,
together.
but Jack, who was mandolin player, super mandolin player. Of course, he won't play the fiddle, but Granddad played the fiddle. He had Granddad's fiddle. And Thurston, the oldest boy, he gave him a fiddle and a Chubby Wise tape. 7, I think. He went to the bedroom. And when he came out, he was playing Chubby Wise on the fiddle. You know, you know, it's just, he was kind of a prodigy. Wallace, now, you saw him, you would, this would be what you would, this is what people think musicians are.
Wallace is the entertainer. Thurston is the technician.
You know, Wallace
He could
is,
play with anybody.
and he's free spirit, you know, he doesn't work. He just,
They're opposite in personality.
it's amazing, you know, but he's what, there was a friend of mine, he's dead now, when he would say the word, when he would talk about a musician, you know, talking about a girl, said, oh, that's right, she married a musician. Well, just like that, musician. And you're going, musician. Well, you knew what he meant. Wallace is what he's talking about. A guy that, you know, a guy that just plays and does nothing else, you know. I mean, they're not good for anything.
What we'd all like to do.
Well, we'd all like to be. And so, you know, I wished I would have grown up in that kind of family. We didn't. So, man.
Well, you know, I didn't either, but that's what got me started.
Yes.
In grade school, I met a guy. I went to his house. I was going to spend the night and went to eat supper with him. Well, at supper, they're listening to Merle Haggard singing Jimmy Rogers tunes at the dinner table. And I'm looking around, they're all chewing to the music. You know? and first place, that was the first time I'd heard Merle Haggard or Jimmy Rogers. Well, no, I think I'd heard Merle Haggard on the radio, but he was doing Jimmy Rogers. He wasn't doing his stuff. And anyway, after dinner, I didn't know that, you know, it cleaned up real quick and everybody started grabbing instruments. You know, Daddy had a banjo, Mama played a little electric piano that was like this. They were terrible back then. Just a toy, basically. Little sister played the 12-string guitar. My buddy played the 6-string guitar. And they just started jamming.
This is in San Antonio?
No, this was in Amarillo.
Amarillo.
Yeah, I was in like the 5th grade. And I just fell in love with us. this is what I want to do.
Yes.
You know? And my stepfather had went to Levine's, him and my uncle, and bought these cheap guitar amplifier sets that were, like $30. You get electric guitar strings this high off, but the amplifier had tremolo and reverb,
Yeah.
so they could hit it.
And electro.
And they thought this is how musicians make this sound, is with these effects. They put them in the closet. And they played them for a couple of nights, and so that's what I got out of. That's what I started. I started sneaking it out of the closet and called my buddy up, and he'd help me tune over the phone. I found out that dial tone was A440, so I could tune my A string to dial tone.
I would love to have one.
But that's what got me interested in it. But I didn't have too many other people to play with for a long time.
Mhm.
But you meet people wherever you go, and you just steal things from them. And I was not ever in the cool. Well, I was always doing the wrong kind of music for the people I was around.
That was the 60s is where it came up in the 60s. And of course, it was Free Spirit, Long Haired Bees and stuff. And I remember, in high school, we had a group in high school. We weren't, there's always been groups around here. The Essex were an old group back then. My brother, the Essex, there's still, the Darling Brothers are going to play somewhere. Really? I saw here, Sheila read it to me, the Darling Brothers, well, they're from here, and they're really talented musicians. Some of them played Buster Brown. But in fact, our Pampa Fest that they have every year, they try to bring back people that have association with that.
When is that?
August, yeah. This is only going to be the second year.
Oh, okay.
It drives us crazy because, there's no local musicians involved in this at all.
Yeah.
Now, we don't mean to be on the big stage downtown with all the lights and stuff and everything.
Now, they asked me, Robert, but it was going to be outside in the sun.
Yeah, we can't stand.
We're too old for that.
We can't do that. Yeah.
I said, we'd be interested if you got us a stage in the shade in the morning.
Yeah, and we actually were open last year during the fest, but they seem to kind of cut it off at the underpass right here. South
The car show's today.
Stand there.
Right down there. So that's where they have the fest.
Oh,
And-
Now, they do use this first block with the fest. Luckily, they've got it open so you can turn and get around Pampa. The
Yeah.
fire department can get.
Yeah.
But we thought that they would be parking on this end and everybody would be walking by here, so we stayed open. We were going to play music for people.
And nobody even parked down here.
The entrance, it was blocked off here, but the entrance was on the other end. So nobody parked down here because you'd had to walk all the way around.
If they'd had a gate down on this end, people would have parked here.
Yeah, you think they're coordinated. And where is that? Is it the NK Center?
K. Brown, that's the Civic Center here in town.
And that is one of the music venues.
And
Normal daily, every day of the week.
oh, really? Every
Yeah.
They host events.
They
at all
have
kinds. Yes, they have an auditorium there.
I have a ticket. You buy yearly tickets, and they have between Pampa Border, Plainview, Lubbock, I think.
Fine Arts Association.
The Fine Arts Association. And it's cool. We saw John Denver guy last year. I swear John Denver was alive. This guy was awesome. It was him and an old high school buddy. He looked like John Denver. He sounded like John Denver. He acted like John Denver. This was just weird. And then they have some classical stuff. It's all entertainment.
It's always good acts.
So they have that. We have this. This is a really good music venue here. This is the most active because it's every week, every Friday night.
And there's still half the people in town don't know about it, what it is, or what we do. Even though we advertise it in the paper, on the radio.
I mean,
Newspaper, I do articles for the newspaper, helps us all the time.
oh yeah, the newspaper was always good about rich stuff. And putting it up front, putting it up.
I'm here through the week, and I often have locals stop in and say, well, I just drove by here many times, never been once, thought I'd stop in today, And they're usually surprised and happily,
And, you know, this used to be busy down here when the hardware store across the street went under. That never has been anything else. I mean, that hardware store was, you know, it was a place of business. I mean, lots of it all industrial.
Back in its heyday, though, this was just as busy as downtown.
Yeah,
because this was, you know, you come off
The
highway,
underpass
this
wasn't there.
downtown. Yeah, the underpass wasn't there then.
It was flat across. Yeah. You had to wait on the train for sure.
Are there bars with bands?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Sort of.
most of
One
them,
right across the street over there.
yeah, over here, they do karaoke.
Oh, okay.
All the big clubs shut down. The dance, like the dance venues.
When was that?
Oh, gosh.
You know, to be a beer bar band
Yeah.
it's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have the city limits out here, the old Catalina Club.
Size of place, yeah.
And it was
Starlight.
hold, you know, 1,000 people, and they would bring in Junior Brown, was one of the acts I saw
Yeah.
out there.
Well, in fact, Kentucky Headhunters, I think,
You
ran
know,
one
so they
that
would
year.
bring in some big names occasionally.
That was back
but,
80s, maybe 70, 80s.
So why do you think they shut down?
money. I mean, you know, it's hard to keep a big place like that open in a small town.
Let's
You know,
free beer.
they can only open maybe Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, really, because of the overhead. If you open through the week, your overhead is more than you're gonna make on a weeknight.
Yeah.
So they would try to have local bands on the weeknights, and I played out there some. And it just,
But the place is.
unless you were using it for a tax write-off,
Yeah.
you really weren't gonna make money.
The buildings got smaller. You know, the place out here we're talking about on the highway, it was a good sized place. It was a good dance hall.
Yeah.
And there was dances there for
Big
many. Well, it started out with a local lawyer here's daddy on the side's old bar. And when I was a teenager, worked right over here. It was Pampa Safety Bank at the time at the garage. And there was a guy there that we patronized it back in the day. Now, back in the day, you didn't come south of the tracks after dark. It's just not the place to be. And I met the old man that was a bouncer out there one time. I'm walking in over there, and this, man, it's like, you know, a movie that you wouldn't want to be in, you know. I mean, you know, he's standing over there talking, yeah, you remember that night I talked to that guy's eyeball out, you know. And you heard stuff like that all the time, you know, it's a rough tumble
When
place.
Woody was here, this 2 blocks was called Little Juarez. And it wasn't because there was any Hispanic influence. It's because it was wide open as a border town. You could get anything you wanted in this 2 blocks. This was not really a drug. I mean, it was a drugstore in name only. They sold bootleg liquor. It was prohibition. And every 10 days you could get a prescription from your doctor. You could get a pint of liquor. So there were 3 drugstores right here. There was a drugstore on the corner. There was one right here. There was one right across the tracks. I don't know how many more, but it was like medical marijuana.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that until I started doing this. But there were drugstores all over the country like this, and a lot of them had doctors on site to write prescriptions when you came in the door, so you could get. It wasn't illegal to drink; it was just illegal to buy alcohol.
So, you know, the dancing, of course, you know, back when Woody was playing, like I say, the band right over there, the swing bands and stuff, dancing, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, you know, dancing was a thing.
Yeah, barn dancing.
You know, big dancing, you know, they swing, any kind of music, really, anything, country, anything. And then, as people, you know, came into the 60s, and seriously, it used to drive the bands crazy because they all wanted to sit on the floor and just listen instead of dance. They even did that out at the youth center when they used to have dances out there. All of the long hairs and everybody wanted to sit on the floor, you know, like, and they're going, don't anybody dance anymore? You know. So bands always kind of like to see people moving around. And so through the 60s and stuff, and into the 70s, I don't know, the dancing seemed to, there's still the people that like to dance, that do. My kids like to dance and stuff. You're limited on the places you can go, of course.
You know, in Amarillo, there was no shortage.
No.
So people.
Starlight
people just
Ranch
go
down there, really.
Well, I grew up in Amarillo.
But I mean, is it the case today that folks, if they like to see music, will be driving out of town?
People are more likely to drive from here to Canadian to see an act that's going to be here in Pampa.
At the MK Brown Auditorium. Now, he is not kidding.
And Canadian's a smaller town than we are.
Yeah, I went through it.
Uh,
But they have a good music scene.
Wellington.
Yeah, they have
They have a theater down there that they fixed up. They got to sleep at the wheel. I don't know who all they had down there.
Bellamy Brothers, all
Yeah,
these old Marty
man,
Stewart,
they
old
had-
country acts that are.
And you're going in Wellington? You know,
Why is that? I mean, why does?
I don't know if somebody knows somebody.
There's local people with money that support it.
Yes. And here in Pampa, I went to a concert one time in Stamps Quartet. Anybody knows who the Stamps are. I bet there was 40, 50 people that were going to it. J.D. Sumner and Stamps, I mean. And you're going, what? You know, then we had a band that was here one time, and I don't know if it's promotion or whack of it, or nobody knows anything here in Pampa, but there was a band that came. We got free tickets, I think, for the Lions Club. I said, let's go, it's bluegrass something. And my daughter went with me, and it was a #1 bluegrass band out of Nashville. They wore the little uniforms and stuff, you know, kind of, man, these guys were super. And of course, they were asking about, have you seen our videos? Does anybody out there have satellite? You know, everybody, we're like the armpit of the world, I guess.
I gotta think it's like that all over though. I can't believe that.
You know, these guys
We're the
were
only-
famous.
Yeah.
These guys were famous, and nobody there knew nothing about it.
You know, when I had Milk Drive here, nobody had heard of them, but they were the best bluegrass musicians I've ever heard. I had maybe 30 people at that show.
Well, you guys many at MK Brown.
Well, I had it at the hotel over there.
Okay. Okay.
Because the MK Brown was booked
Yeah.
here, but I had the
You know,
American Event Center.
so,
And that cost, we lost our butts on that.
well, we've done
But they had a good time. We all that were there that had a
that.
good
See,
time.
that's another thing, you know, once a year we have a Woody Fest. And we try to find someone that will draw, you know, you were asked about this, Don Edwards. Man, this guy is like, and of course, we got him just in time because Alzheimer's is taking a toll on him. And he's a cowboy singer,
World renowned. He's probably the best cowboy yober in the world.
You know, and it was totally fantastic. We had Ed Montana. He is just a character. He is cool. He, from
Local
Amarillo.
celebrity.
He is just awesome. You know, Coors has sponsored him forever, but it's not hard to see why. He's kind of a rodeo kind of type. You know,
He's kind of hitting his stride right now. Everybody's hitting him for everything.
yeah, well, and of course,
Every
he
time you turn around,
comes on
he's-
Tuesdays on the news and sings a song, you know, kind of fiddles around on TV.
He's got a
So,
little 30-minute show, doesn't he?
yeah, he's just, and he's fun hearing.
He's got this really deep voice and he MCs a lot of things.
But why do you think it's so hard to get an audience? One thing I'm finding is that those
Social
local-
media,
Right,
TV,
yeah.
you got 100, 300 channels on your TV,
Yeah.
economy,
Well, the same thing happened, kids played outside at night, you know. They all sit around with their cell phone now. In fact, you know, we walk down the street and everybody's looking at their cell phone in Pampa, and, you know, even little town.
and it's name recognition. If they don't know who they are, then they assume they're no good.
Yeah.
I mean, we like the people that we can't get big, well-known names, but we get people that, I mean,
Don Edwards was
Don
awesome,
Edwards,
awesome.
but, you know, Ronnie Cox
Ronnie
is a
Cox.
great actor, folk musician.
You know, he was in Deliverance. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
he was the guy in Deliverance that played the guitar with the kid that played the banjo, you know? Well, we had him here.
He played a really good bad guy in a lot of movies.
Yeah, Terminator.
Yeah, he could be,
Hundreds and hundreds. of
you know,
movies.
he could, you know, but he's a folk singer. I mean, he likes to sing and entertain.
Yeah.
And it was very entertaining.
Yeah, what did we get, 100 people? maybe?
People in Tampa just are bonehead.
They're on front page of the paper. I had people calling me from from New Mexico, from Amarillo, and from, yeah, hey, we want to come see this.
Well, when Don Edwards sang, there was people, we got good people from out of town. Well, there's a guy, a local sort of musician, R.J. Vandegrift. Now, he does a show called The Cowboy Is Not Dead. We couldn't afford that. But he is also a good player and singer. And we had him come and sing. And Mike, filling up with COVID stuff. And I took care of that. But that was, we had people come from, what was funny, his friends came to see his wife. But she played golf tournament, so she wasn't with him. So they stayed and watched him sing, but they really came to see his wife. But people showed up, from out of town.
More than they do locally sometimes.
All the people that you saw last night will come to the Woody Fest.
Yes.
These are our regulars.
Yeah.
And they'll come to the Woody Fest.
And there's more than that. Usually every Friday night, this place is full.
It seemed pretty full last night.
Yeah, well, that's a good. A few of our regulars that are here. We had 3 events this week. We had a guy Tuesday night here, and then Thursday night we did a dance at the Senior Citizen Center, and then last night. So that's all the same people.
Yeah.
So we're wearing them out. This week.
Yeah.
I thought about it last night. We was lucky to have as many as we did.
Well, they're dedicated. They like to come and seriously.
Social.
Yeah.
We have people that visit and talk and make lots of noise and everything. You shouldn't, but they do.
Well,
And they come to visit and stuff. They come down to hang out.
yeah.
And
That's kind of what I promoted as when I.
and they're personal friends of every, so.
When I get grant money, I promote the place as a gathering place for senior citizens.
Yeah.
Boy, they do. They're the ones that. We do have a teenager that come here for once in a while.
Yeah.
We have people that come from out of town to play with us.
Yeah.
Occasionally. Gary's from here, but we're not sure where. Went to school with him, he belongs here, so.
Yeah.
Occasionally we get people from Amarillo, Oklahoma, Perryton, not as much as we used to.
Well, COVID put a dent.
And everything really had to pick back up yet from that.
And we're
Boston
probably,
doesn't come anymore, and the people from Oklahoma.
well, we probably recovered from COVID better than a lot of places.
We didn't stay closed as long.
And so we still have, I'm quite proud of what it is, even after COVID. It killed all the dancing. It killed all of in fact, I was with a band that's gone. It's dead now. It's basically been for dust. Of course, I didn't play with them at gigs about 4 or 5 times. Nobody wants to hear rock in the country.
No, here. You could get away with that in Amarillo.
Yeah, well, they probably could have, but I told them, I'm not playing hard. I'm an old man, and I'm not going. I'm sorry. You guys can just knock yourself out. But I am not playing in beer parties. That is way beyond mine.
And are they doing it anyway?
No, they're done. There's no band anymore. But also, I'm music director at Hope Baptist Church. And I'm not going to play ball. Now, that's an every Sunday, Wednesday, you got to take care of a lot of people's business stuff.
Right. Betty was telling me that between all that, she might have 2 nights off.
Well,
with all the church music.
For her and I, of course, Sunday is church.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we'll do Sunday morning worship, and there'll be a singing over at the Pentecostal church here in town. We'll go to that singing. We've been going to it for 30 years together. And then Sunday night we'll have church again. And then Monday we'll play for lunch down at the Senior Citizen Center. And that'll be the band that you saw here last night. Then Tuesday, luckily, we could, at times, they'll book kids here, so we could play. But Tuesday is usually, Wednesday we have church again at night. Thursday, there could be kids here. And has been, this is happening. Of course, Friday is here. Of course, Thursday could be the dance at every second Thursday of the month. We play a dance at the Senior Citizen Center. Friday night here, Saturday we're off, or it could be some event.
We got a golf thing coming up.
We have a golf thing coming up, and then we're back to Sunday again.
Well, that's
Billy
pretty busy.
and I-
That's a pretty busy social schedule.
if we have kids during the week, all those other things, you can play all but maybe one or
And
two.
we never practice.
Well, we don't get a chance to.
Well, if you're playing, you know,
Every now and then, we used to go to Turkey, Texas, before the COVID. They had a
We
little,
love that,
I
yeah.
think they've shut down, but they had a little theater down there that they converted, and they had.
Called the
music
Gym
once in a while.
Theater
Yeah.
on Main Street, and it was just fun.
And we would usually get together so that you had 30 minutes there, so we could get together and put together a set and maybe go over them once before we went down there.
Yeah, you
Just
weren't totally-
so you weren't totally, because most of the time we don't know what song we're up for. We don't even know if we've ever played the song before.
Yeah,
We just throw the
sometimes.
songs out there.
Well, I hear people yelling out the chords just before the changes.
Yeah, you know, give an idea, we don't destroy you.
So the local paper, I mean, you mentioned, all the work you're doing to advertise it. One thing I've noticed is how local papers have been, just drying out.
Yeah, they don't have much.
Because of COVID, or before, because of the internet, right?
Yeah, that and, well, yeah, there's no,
So does the local paper still print? How often does it print?
was it 3 times a
We
week?
got it, I think, Monday, let's see,
Tuesday,
Monday.
Thursday, and Saturday, isn't it?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. No, I deliver these things. It's a few days a week, and if you die on Friday or Thursday, and you don't get a paper, if you die on Friday, I don't think we won't find out until Tuesday. There's been people that have missed funerals because it didn't come out in the paper until the paper came out, and the funeral's
Same day
done.
of the funeral, yeah.
They're already buried.
Well, I get the paper delivered here, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Okay. And see, if it's not in the Saturday paper,
You got this?
and if
So they
somebody's
put them out
funeral is,
the day before, I guess, and then they print.
yeah, my mother-in-law, we had her funeral on Monday, and it was a guy here in town, they were really mad because they said, "Oh,
I didn't know.
but they didn't see it till Tuesday. And she was buried the day before. I mean, so, advertising, well, in fact, the post office delivers the papers here. They got rid of all
Oh,
the paper here.
Yeah, and there's no, there used to be machines all over the place.
Yeah.
You could get a paper anywhere.
And-
Yeah, I was looking for one, I couldn't find one.
Nope. Well, you go to the news office.
Go to the newspaper office.
Oh, okay. It's
So
called
as far as,
Wednesday.
and Mike tries to, social media is the best way to advertise, but unless you
Most
can't
people
get
are
it.
coming to your page.
Yeah.
Now, there's another page that I use, which I started a community events calendar, and I was with the Chamber of Commerce on
Yeah.
the tourism board, and I started that, and everything that they posted, I would post. So I could share everything and put it on this separate page, and then I could promote us on there. But they kind of dropped me, and,
Well, they still,
well, they don't have it where I can share now.
oh, okay.
Whenever I look at their page, I can't share all the events, so I can't put them on my page.
This is what,
So I called her the other day, said, hey, I can help you
we have events.
if you'll help me, I can help you, because I'm still doing their website for them.
Oh, okay. Well, see, they have weekly events or
I'm not getting us
stuff, they have weekly events and stuff, what's happening in Tampa. The only thing you can't do is advertise.
Well, the chamber can.
But our events are, it's not really advertising, those are events, that's what you're saying, what's happening in Tampa, this is gonna happen this week. And,
But if I can get the other events on there and get people to come and looking at it regularly, then they'll see
that's
us.
what we do, yeah.
And so, and I had that going pretty good when I was with the chamber, but that was, and I gotta get her to get back on